fourth session, which is advanced customization in Zoho IoT 101. And we had covered three parts earlier. First part was introduction to Zoho IoT. So we covered the IoT offerings, what we are offering as a product as well as the platform and solutions. And we also covered customer use cases there. And then on the part two, we covered more about how to connect various types of devices seamlessly using Zoho IoT. And in the part three, we covered some of that aspects about how to model new assets, new devices, and what are the attributes required for that, and what is the data flow involved in customizing the entire platform, and also how to visualize that through intuitive dashboards. So the next one is the part 4 today. So we would cover the advanced customization. So the agenda would be like this. First, a short recap about the previous sessions, and then we'll jump on to analytics and reports, and then workflow, notification profiles, schedules, and multi-tenancy, how multi-tenancy is handled, along with client portal. And we will dive deep on APIs. What are the APIs that we are providing for REST and the OAuth protocol standards, and also the client extensions that are possible over and above the platform. So a quick recap. So we offer a powerful combination of low-code IoT platform, which is targeted for system integrators, partners like you, who can extensively build on top of this. And also we focus on certain vertical solutions as well, such as industrial IoT and things. So this approach will accelerate the IoT deployments much faster than ever. And this is it has hundreds of devices support, and it is highly secure, and it can process and store billions of data points. You don't have to worry about the scale aspects. It has a big data engine behind the scenes. It has a time series database. It has real-time visualization in terms of dashboards, and it also has AI-powered analytics. And we have integrations with applications like CRM. Right, so these are the portfolio of solutions that we are focusing. Number one is industrial IoT for smart manufacturing, and number two, smart buildings and energy management. Energy management is something common across any facility, I would say. And for manufacturers, we also provide connected products where they can convert their appliances or equipments or machines as IoT connected machines. And the fourth one are point solutions, more of a smart city type of application or smart facility and tracking type of applications. Right, so this is something we covered at a high level. What are the core functional modules? So we have devices, assets, locations. These are manageable entities through which you can model your physical world, equipments or location or building or device or anything. And we do also provide custom modules support, where you can extend the platform by customizing this. You can have any type of new form based modules along with the layouts and things that can be provided there. And all these manageable entity modules will have monitoring and control capabilities through data point configurations, alarm rule configurations, commands, which are something instructions that you can send down to the devices. And we also have template dashboards. You can define it once, it can be applied across them. And there are fields, of course, that you can customize through drag and drop interface. And these are core modules around which we have built all other fundamental visualization, analytics, and others. So as part of the devices, we do provide out-of-the-box support for hundreds of devices, and we can classify them as gateways, peripheral devices, and smart sensors. So the product gallery has this complete catalog of devices that we support. And over and above this, you can also define your own product and connect that through Zoho IoT. And so we also covered data flow. What is the way how you can customize and intercept the existing data flow and add your own custom business logic. So we had shown the data flow. So you can write a custom message formatter, a custom message handler, which all runs on real-time stream processing engine. And then we also covered the data flow for alarm rules, where we meaning do the criteria for this, checking this for the alarm rules, and how the alarm actions, what are the type of the alarm actions that we support, and the extensions in terms of you can write a custom function as well to have any custom business logic as part of that. And we also covered the wide range of dashboard widgets that we supported. Like it has a catalog of widgets like cards, charts, dials, image cards, heat maps, image layouts, timeline views. So we covered all these in the part 3 as well. And for this part 4, we are starting with this reports, which comes under analytics module. So the analytics and reports module enables, or it is being designed to create wide range of reports. So such as, it could be a comparative insight, or it could be an aggregated insight. So the data is actually scattered across various places, various modules. However, the analytics and report module enables you to join all this information to provide contextual intelligence and business intelligence for the teams. So since the analytics module is inbuilt with the platform, you can create any types of reports that are essential for your management to see, or you can also automate these reports to go as scheduled emails, or you can also customize that report and export that as PDFs or Excel as formats. So these are the 4 types of reports we can quickly see. This is instance comparison report. This allows the users to compare any type of instance against the time, right? So it could be one is you want to have a baseline as the time and how your diesel generator asset was performing at that particular time, and at the same time how your chiller was performing. So you can put all of them together under the time series information and can have a study how the trend goes. So this helps in that way. And aggregated chart report is something you can have an aggregation across multiple instances. You want to do a summation of, say, fuel consumption across multiple diesel generators, and also do a summation across the energy consumed by all the meters, right? So, and you baseline that based on a particular day or a month. So this sort of reports help you to get that sort of a view and insight based on aggregation. And there are summary table reports. This allows you to group the data by the instance property, which is like, it could be anything. It could be name, or it could be location, or any of the custom field that you choose, right? So based on that, it can create intuitive tables, and it also allows you to define the aggregation algorithm, like it could be average or min or max or any of that analytic pieces. So that it helps you to create these type of tables. And matrix table is another one where you can put time as well as instance across the column and rows and find out how the data has been performing, and you can also again come out with a summary of that data as well. So you can quickly see that in the product. So this one is an instance comparison report. So this is an analytics module, and you can see list of all these reports here. And this one is instance comparison report. And this is a place where you create all these reports, instance comparison report and things. So this report, if you go ahead and then edit that, you would find that you can choose the manageable entity modules. So it could be your devices or assets or anything. You can pick and choose them, whatever that you want to analyze now, and it will show under that model how many instances are there, and you can find out all the data points corresponding to that. We have picked 3 of those meters, or sorry, the transformers here, utility transformers, and we have chosen what is the average current that is being going from these utility meters, right? So we wanted to analyze the trend of that over a period of time. So we are just comparing that on a particular time period here. So this is a custom time period. You can also choose today, yesterday, all these time period across that. So we wanted to analyze something what happened on November 13th, right? So for that, we are picking the utility transformers as well as the diesel generator. So if there is a transformer current that is coming in, there is no need of a diesel generator to get started, right? So, or if you want to balance the power, you would start the diesel generator parallelly so that you are not overloading your grid, right? So here is the place typically you can analyze something like, what happened on the diesel generator. The diesel generator had kick-started running, and so you would find, and when this is switched off, right? So the diesel generator started running. So you can find this on November 13th, it has started running and how much of amperes it is been producing. And the same time, the utility transformer can see that the current is 0 now. So that's the reason the diesel generator has been running. And so what happens here is at different points in times, these data gets stored in the time series database. That's the reason you see that 0 amps here and 0 amps here. And then the main DG, all of them are different assets. So you would be able to find out whether the average current when it comes from the grid, are we immediately switching off the diesel generator or not. So for that purpose, this kind of reports would be essential. So for example, here, as the grid has started receiving the current, we have stopped the diesel generator and it has gone to 0 amps now. So this sort of trend analysis would be essential to analyze that. You can also find out on the same day what incident had happened. For example, on November 13, I entered onto a diesel generator's instance page. You can find the trend over here on November 13th. It has started running, and there is a heat map on the diesel consumption. It is based on a color rule that it shows that on that day, 1,000 liters of diesel has been used. So this is one particular use case. You can see how the reports have been useful. And this is the second type of report, which is aggregated report. So you can find out here that we have selected a few models like energy. I want to compare the energy meters and AHUs and chillers, and I have selected the time grouping as the criteria over here, and we have selected 3 modules: energy meters, air handling units, and then chillers. And once after that, I would basically select the corresponding data points from each of these models, and I aggregate them through this. So summation function or minimum or maximum first value, loss value sort of things. And you can also choose the way you want to visualize that. You want to have a bar and line chart, or a line chart alone, or an area chart. So these are up to you to choose. And you will also have advanced mode to add a KPI bar information, adding a threshold line, axis settings, different sort of axis settings can be defined over here. And this is the place where you would group that based on the time period. So if you want to see this for the last week and things, and you can have a day-wise grouping done right now. That's the reason you see that number 1, number 2, that's the data being shown. So you can also have that even 6 hours once, 12 hours once sort of thing. So it creates this tabular report and aggregated chart report. And once this is saved, so you would be able to export this report as well through actions. You can find there is export report. You can export it as a PDF or an Excel. While exporting, you can the platform will ask you to secure this with a password, so that only people who know the password can open and see that. You can also schedule this as a for periodic email deliveries, right? So you can choose what time you want to automate this report. So similarly, you can also create wide range of summary table reports or matrix reports in that way. So you can go ahead and then quickly create this, meaning I want to analyze how the water usage has been done across multiple usage behavior, like in hand wash as a one of the custom field, I'm just choosing that. What is the domestic purpose this is being using? So I've chosen that as a column for grouping, and then by the name of those water meters, and then on every day how much of usage has been there. You can also define color rules over here, so it allows you to set the range, what is the min max, and you can add more ranges as well over here. And you will also have various ways to visualize this information. Like here we are seeing this instance on the row and time on the column. So similarly you can also change this way, like I want to change the way it has to be visualized. First have the time over here, and then I want to have them as columns. Or you can also time and instance a column together as rows. So this is very flexible for you to create wide range of reports like this. This is again another aggregated chart report, so I don't want to get inside. And even some of the summary functions can be done directly from the columns over here. You can have summation function or maximum function, things like that. It will be easily done as a summary operation over here. So with that, let's move on to the next module, which is workflow. So this module has been designed to automate the process wherever user actions are involved. So we had seen alarm rules in the earlier part. So where based on the data that is incoming from the the devices and assets, we were able to define the criteria for threshold criteria or any of those comparison criteria, and we're able to do certain actions on that, right? So that one is based on the data trigger, and this workflow is a mechanism where when a user changes a record information, what you want to do you want to perform some action. So that is the module that allows you to do this action, and it is allowed for several modules that we have: assets, devices, alarms, and all other modules. So where any of the CRUD operation, creation or retrieval, update, and so for all these operations you can define those rules. So this will have the trigger condition, when based on the record action, user creates a record or user edits or creates a record, particular field, or based on date and time. So based on that you can apply condition rules. So for all records, do you want to do this action, or do you want to apply that condition only for certain types of records, right? So once you do that, you would be able to define certain actions, like email notification, or call a custom function which is scripting, and you can call webhooks as well. So this enables you to define various workflow rules and automate the process across the systems. So let's quickly see one of the use case here. So this is a case where we are having an update incident start time. So incident is one of the custom module that we have. So we have defined this incident alarm rule, workflow rule. So here, once after we selecting that module, you would have the when criteria. So this is the place we selected user edits a record. You can even choose on a particular field. Only if that particular field gets changed or modified, you want to invoke this rule, right? So that level of granularity we give here. In the next, you go here, and then it will allow you to define the condition. What it says is that the start time is empty and the status is work in progress. Then you want to define a particular action, which is a start time up for the update instance. Whenever the state has been changed, you want to change the timing for that. So where you will have a code, meaning the scripting that will be involved here. So we are invoking a URL, we are getting the current time, and then updating that time as part of this API. So you change that and use a connection. We'll come to that part later. So for now, you can understand that this is a place where, based on a simple change on a particular record, you would be able to perform actions on any other record, or even the third party application could be updated based on this particular rule. So that's the power of the workflow rules. So next one is the notification profile. So notification profile is something we have designed this as a module to take actions based on the alarms. So even though we have provided alarm specific actions under alarm modules, this is a centralized place where you would be able to define rules for that. So where you can say that for a particular alarm, if it is there, so you want to define for set of users, you want to send an email notification or a push notification, or you want to have an escalation based on if the alarm has been kept idle, not picked up, not assigned, not acknowledged state, and you want to define an escalation where you want to create a record in something, you want to send an email, you want to push a click notification to that user, or if a particular alarm has been cleared, you want to basically do a double check now, want to inform a particular manager that the alarm has been cleared, go and find out a follow-up action with that. So that sort of things are defined in the notification profile. Let me quickly go through here. So the topic name is different here, but so here the notification actions, you can find out there are three things here. One is the simple notification action, and then there are escalation actions and resolution actions. So you can design that kind of rules over here. Let's quickly find. So this is a notification profile that we have defined for based on energy meters. So for these energy meters, you can have a notification profile, and you can have something like configured actions, like when the average current is 0, what action that you want to perform. So this basically takes you through that process. And similarly, you want to have an escalation action here. Again, you can have that as when the alarm is not clear, right? So it is in a major state or a critical state, and it stays there for more than 10 minutes, and so then you want to kick up this function, right? So you can pass on these meaning the info as argument to this function, and once this function is started, you can have a click bot notification here. That is what we have done. So we used click and used that particular API to put a kind of a click message in that, so that the group that has been in the click will all be notified that this particular alarm has been there staying without changing the state back to clear. So that action can be very useful using the notification profile. And the next one would be the periodic schedules. So again, you can also have certain automated actions that are performed at a specific time or recurring period, right? So you can even have like every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday on the working day 9 a.m. I want to do this activity. You can define that kind of activity, or you can also say that every hour once I want to do this sort of activity. And that is the area where we provide configured actions. It can be either custom functions, or it could be executing certain commands on the devices. It could be switching on, switching off the light every 9 a.m., something like that, right? So that area, you can see something like this. So this is a schedule. So this is the area where we are periodically querying the weather API, right? So hourly once we get that weather API, and we have this custom function defined, so which uses the weather API's authentication, authorization parameters, and then calls those for different regions, like for Chennai, for Madurai, Tenkasi, and all these regions. You can get what is the current weather condition, because this is essential when you are doing something related to solar monitoring, or something related to optimization on the energy side. As part of multi-tenancy, the platform provides various ways. So number one is we have default user profiles. So where we have administrator, developer, manager, standard. So administrator would have the entire privilege to create application, invite the users, set up everything across the things, like adding the models and things. And developer is a basic profile where they will not be able to invite the users or do anything, but they can customize the application, develop on top of it, write the custom functions, create new models, new modules and things. But you can also tell them, don't look at the actual data. So they stay away from looking at the data, but they would be able to customize the application further. And the manager is kind of a profile where they would be able to even invite the users, do certain administrative functions and keep up the things, but they will not be able to do any change on the develop, because they don't have the sort of the technologies involved and the skills involved to customize the application. We want to avoid them going and changing those configurations and the business logic. And the standard user is someone who could be an end user, an operator sort of a person, so who will not have user administration privileges. They will have the privileges pretty much which is required for them. So based on these base profiles, you can clone them and create multiple profiles. So any profile that you want to create has to be cloned from these base 4 profiles, so that we allow them to, the administrator to have a proper accountability of what they are capable of doing. So you would basically be able to have a facility manager profile on a particular thing. You can clone that from manager. Or if you want to have a electrician, a technician profile, you can clone that from standard and you can extend from there. So if you take, there is also, we provide data slicing rule. So there is a slight difference between the profile and the data slicing rule. The profile defines the permissions and actions that you can perform on the application, whereas data slicing rule is the place where you set the criteria for the user to view certain things, part of the data, right? So based on the criteria. So you can even have in profile that the particular user has the privilege to view a chiller asset model or not. However, within chiller, you can say that if the chiller is located at this location, you would be able to see through data slicing rules. So that's the power of combining the profiles and the data slicing rules. So for example, here a supervisor would be able to see the entire picture of this, whereas a particular plant manager would be able to view one production plant, manager 1, and the manager 2 would be able to see the second production plant. So a data slicing rule will come out with criteria like the rule type. Here it can be based on the location hierarchy. You can select a particular hierarchy and say that you can view only the information below this hierarchy, or you can also define that based on the module property rule, right? So and here the user association to the data slice, you can associate individual users to this data slicing rule. They can all be part of the same profile, manager profile, but still the user will have different data slicing rules. So that's the power of associating those users with the data slicing. So we have summarized the information of profile versus data slicing rule over here. So you can quickly see under setup module, meaning you can find out the entire setup information under which users and controls. You can find different user profiles. So for example, if we drill down on a particular user profile, we will see list of all privileges listed for them, and you will also have the list of all these users versus user profile mapping under the user controls. And here you would find around 194 users over here, so you can find whether this user is in active state or not, and what profile they correspond to, and when they were being added, what kind of associations they have with data slicing rules, and whether they are part of any user group or not. So this is one of the ocean building profiles. So some of that we can define on a particular managerial level. So you can see that there are models and actions on device module, we have created so many models, right? So you can have that, like, a CCTV camera, energy meter, things like that, lifts and thing. And what are the actions they can perform on the device module? Will they be able to re-register that device? Will they be able to view the device message or not? Whether they will be able to acknowledge and acknowledge that, whether it will be to bulk update the device information or bulk delete, and then certificates related information on the asset modules, what kind of permissions they have, on the system modules, whether they have permissions or not. Similarly, integrations, global dashboards, reports, all that area you can define the profile information. So coming to the data slicing rule, you can again go to the setup and then you can find under data slicing rule. So this is one. So for example, this data slicing rule configuration has certain criteria over here. So this is based on the module property rule. So where we define a criteria whether if the vendor is from this, you can just view them. So you'll not be able to view the water meters belonging to any other vendors when the flow meter belonging to just this particular profile will be able to just view that. You can associate users along with that. So that's the power of data slicing rule. When you have a location based data slicing rule, you will be able to define the permission based on hierarchy. Moving on to the next module, which is also related to the multi-tenancy, where this is a client portal module. So far what we had seen, this user profiles and things, these are all multiple permission level of users that are inside a single organization, right? Whereas here, if you have a case where you are an OEM, or you want to give your end clients specific views for them, right? So that's the place where we would go for client portal model. So essentially, clients are also a kind of an individual organization or a business or a facility group or even a single consumer, end consumer. So these are the people who are served by the enterprise, like OEM or a managed service provider. For example, take a scenario where e-trucks is a kind of an OEM who's manufacturing the EV trucks, and if they want to, and they have clients like Easy Logistics, Xyla Logistics, and Agro. So they deliver these trucks to their clients, and these clients will have multiple users within their space, right? So there can be a client administrator, there can be a client operator level of users. So now what e-trucks can do here is that they can define the client definition, and then they can model the client users and invite them to the application, and they can even have a rebranded white labeled view. So when Easy Logistics comes in, they would be able to view that as e-trucks application, not Zoho IoT's application there. So they would be able to view their truck information. What are the trucks that they have bought, and what is the performance of their truck, and what is their moving status and things. They can be able to view that information. Similarly, think of that use case for a managed service provider, where if you are an energy services company and you are managing multiple buildings, in these building and offices or individual clients for you, and as a owner for the service, meaning energy services, you would have multiple clients under one organization, and still you would be able to segregate these clients and give the client specific portal view to their end users. So for that, you would be able to enable that under the setup menu, client management module. So you can enable that, and under that you will have client portal settings, where you will have what is the display name of the client portal, and what is the title, what is the fave icon, and what are the browser tab customizations that you want to do, what is the fave icon things, what is the login screen customization you want to provide them, and what email customizations and custom domain information. So on that area we can quickly see here. So this is one of the can see now the smartbikes.zilker.com. So this has been white labeled application, and here under client portal settings, we have the basic settings here defined, and the customizations we have defined all the login screen customization, email customization. Whenever there is a email that has to go from the domain, they can change that email. Instead of Zoho IoT, it can be Zilker, right? So something like that. And as an end user, if these are the end users, if assume that I am a consumer and I or an organization, I have bought two smart bikes from this particular Zilker organization, right? So then what I would be able to view is my smart EV bikes alone, and I can just view their entire information right now, how it has been performing and things like that. But and they can also upgrade the over the air software changes and things, and they can continue to do any kind of operations. However, they will not be able to view the entire organization information. So that's the client portal module. The next one is Zoho IoT APIs. So as part of the APIs, so we provide the REST APIs. And why you would need these APIs? Number one, if you want to integrate with other applications, both Zoho and third-party applications, you would need these kind of API definitions, right? So, and then you also want to customize your IoT application. So we had seen certain custom functions. I have shown you from the schedules module, from the workflow module, we had used some of those APIs, right? So for that actions, you can use these APIs. And for automating workflows, data flows, and alarm triggers, you would use that. And for scheduled actions. And as part of that, API, so we provide record APIs, which is useful for fetching the information about the devices, assets, locations, models, any models that are there as part of that, alarms. So you can do all those CRUD operations based on the scopes that we provide for that authorized user. And data visualization API is something you can query the time series information, and even use that data in third-party application to visualize something if you want to have as a widget in another application. And meta APIs are something that will be useful for you to even add new modules, add new models, add new fields, sort of thing. So you can customize even that through our APIs. So most of you, if you are a developer, you would have known about OAuth 2 protocol. So this is the standard way of providing authentication and authorization for the protected services. So we provide access token based on this OAuth 2, and this allows you a delegated access for your protected services. You don't have to share your user credentials, like username and password, just for API operations. You can have multiple clients created just for these operations that you need to do programmatically, so that your developers will not have your user credential information. So you can create access tokens and then share that for particular purpose, and they can use that for coding, right? So, and the scopes are something we have defined over that. So whenever you create a client and get the access token, so you will be able to choose what you are authorizing for that particular client to go ahead and do, right? So this could be something like, this particular client with this access token, they can do only certain things, like fetching the data, getting the data from the user. So this is something we have defined that as part of our API documentation, and as also part of our OAuth 2.0 scopes and authentication process. The detailed documentation, what are the scopes that are available here, and what is the authentication process involved. So you can find out here. And also these are the APIs I was mentioning, which are record APIs. It can have get records, and what is the way to fetch that, post records, get related records sort of information, and these are data visualization, get data point value information, and these are metadata, model specific APIs, get list of models, update the model, delete the model, that sort of information. So here with the client creation process, so what if you are going to work uh, from Zoho, from Zoho's ecosystem, you want to call certain things, right? So you want to perform actions within Zoho application, that within Zoho IoT or within Zoho's other application. It could be Zoho Creator or be Zoho CRM or books or invoice, anything. So you have the option to use connections, which is provided as part of the deluge module. So where the connection sits on top of the OAuth, it abstracts some of that is essential to do, like refreshing the access tokens periodically and things like that. So it handles things seamlessly. It makes the developer experience easier. It has multi DC support, data center support and things. And if you are using, if you want to use the APIs from third-party services, you would use the typical OAuth way, using your JS scripting and things like that. So from the connections perspective, that is where you would use the Zoho's existing deluge ecosystem to write custom code to connect with the other applications or Zoho's applications. You would find the way to do this by two ways. One is you can find default services and custom service. So under default services, many of these Zoho's applications and even third-party applications are listed. So you don't have to find out, for example, you don't have to go to Google's API console to know what is the parameters, what are the kind of the APIs that are provided. You can find out simply through default services. Select that client, create a client, and you get client secret and client information, ID information. And the custom service is another way. You would basically go ahead and then use the typical way of registering the client and getting the grant token, access token, refresh token, and bearer token and things like that. And these are the ways that we have defined under Zoho API console. If you are not using Zoho's connections mechanism, and also you can directly go to API console and you can log into the application, and as part of that application you will be able to select the service, and you can create the clients in different ways. It could be client based application if it is just browser based things where you have JavaScript. So that's the reason you will select client based application. And if you have some of the server side actions that you want to perform on the back end, so you would use server based applications. So others like mobile app non-browser is something that is used for TVs and other printers sort of use cases. So the next use case is client side extension. So this is even more powerful, like where you can even have extend and add new web tabs or something like that. So where in addition to our existing clients and menus that you see on the end app, you can also introduce your own menus, and we allow that by using Sigma, so which is Zoho extension toolkit. So we have not yet provided this as a kind of a public listable kind of a marketplace listable kind of extension, but you can design this kind of extension privately for one organization, right? So you can, for example, if you want to have a different sort of a kind of a sorted view where based on the scorecard of the machine, OEE scorecard of the machine, you want to visualize in a different way, or if you want to visualize the downtimes of that in different way, you can have your own way of visualization, and we provide a toolkit for that. And we also have CLI support for the developers. They can build this and then upload it to our environment and deploy it. So we will show a quick demo on these aspects. So for the demo, we are going to take few scenarios. So one is we are taking a temperature, humidity monitoring, a simple application, something like that. So, and then you will see for that, if you want to update a custom module record within Zoho IoT, so how would you use a deluge scripting to do that? So number two is fetching IoT data from Zoho Creator. So that is something from a third-party application, which is Zoho's ecosystem. Though you want to view Zoho IoT's time series information, visualize that menu or visualize that as a dial or a trend chart, how you can do that. And the third is like, even if you can update some Zoho IoT's information on a third-party cloud service, which is Google Sheet. So how you can do this here. And also building a client extension, which is the last part I mentioned, is a total new client way of rendering things, and how you can add that into our application. So for that, I have Kandan from our team. He takes care of customer onboarding. So I'll hand over to him. So he will share his screen now.
So before proceeding with demo of this present APIs, so let me just give a small brief of why should you first of all need Zoho IoT APIs over all the simple REST APIs. Because this is not just a REST API where you can create and update records. It's more powerful than that because we support in the time series data. So in most of the cases, REST API provides only the record base or a SQL data. But with Zoho IoT, you can power your application with a time series of data. Even we can achieve the milliseconds of data through these provided REST APIs. So for that, I'm just set up a simple demo through our application where we have connected a humidity and temperature sensor to our application. So just mimicking the smart home monitoring to our application. So here you can see that from our IoT sensor, it is publishing the data every 5 seconds from the sending the humidity and temperature of my room, the current data which is sending the live information. So how we can access this information, that is the time series data, through any third-party application or within the Zoho suite of applications or your own custom application. So for all these use cases, the first starting point should be creating a client access. So as mentioned by Jagan, so you will be getting all the client information through the API console. You can just click on the add client and create your access credential based on your roles. So for this demo, I have been created the 3 app credentials. One is for the internal application access, where we will be creating the records based on these data points within the Zoho IoT app itself. And second one will be the creator access, where we will be fetching the data from our IoT application within creator application. And some third one will be the external third-party application, where you will be using the direct OAuth connection instead of the custom service or default service provided within Zoho. So yeah, I'm just created the client secret and client ID for the app access. So this is a custom service order where when a particular temperature is above the threshold, we can able to create a custom record for this given time instance. Let's say we have a humidity over than 80% and temperature above 28 Celsius here. So in such case, you can create a custom service order for your team to check on the AZ or a HAVOC systems to maintain the temperature for any cloud cold storage systems, or even for maintaining a proper temperature over your organization. You can create a custom module. So for that, we have a custom module support here, and you can create an alert with the action of that alert function. So here you can use this credential which I have created here and just mention that app access and created a connection with that app access. So with that connection credentials, whenever the temperature goes high, it will automatically create a service order here with the highest limit of the temperature here. So you can see the temperature here is 21.84, where we have configured the threshold as 30. So it is more than 30. So with this custom function within our application itself, it created a work order or service order based on this. So the second use case will be the creator app, where we can able to fetch the latest information from our Zoho IoT application. So when I click the fetch IoT data from the creator app, it will make and post get API call to our platform, where it will fetch the latest, the current temperature and humidity from the IoT application and will create a record on the creator app itself. So here you can automate your manual entry with our API itself. So you don't need to enter and check on the temperature readings on your sensors. just you click the fetch data and it will automatically create the records. So this is the function you have been using for creating the records from the Zoho IoT to create an application. So for that, I'm just created a microservice where you can create a connections based on the app access. So here, as previously mentioned, I have been created 3 access. For the created, I have been a separate access which has some restricted amount of app access. So with this credential, client secret and client ID, I am generated a new connection with this credentials which I have created through our API console. So here I am previously created the Zoho IoT DP connection with this data point connection. So I'm using the same data point connection in our current script itself. So with this script, I'm just making a get API call to the provided REST API. From there, it fetching the latest data point value and we are creating the record. So here you can see the list of records. Whenever we hit a fetch record, it will automatically fill the data which is in the current latest value from our IoT application. So this is one of the use case. So on third one will be apart from the Zoho ecosystem, you can able to build a custom application. So for that, you don't need to require any default services or connection for your case. In such cases, you can create or generate your own OAuth token. So through the API access as well. So here I am created in API console. I created a separate set of client secret which is given us some amount of restriction over the app. So you can give a scope as only add the device or access the assets, or you can cut down the scope to only access a particular data point. So you can give like app restriction for this API, and with this I'm just created in a Postman. I'm just mimicking that. So here you can give your client secret and client ID and the reference token which you have been using to get the access token in your next periodical calls. I'm just hitting that. So whenever I get access token based on the reference token, you can use this access token to get all the information. As for now, I'm just replicating the data which I've shown in the creator. So with that, I'm using the get Postman API to the data point endpoint with the created access token here. So I'm just replacing with the latest one because it have a time limit. So whenever you need to access the endpoint, you need a fresh access token for that. So for that only you can use the reference token and keep on generating your new access token whenever you require. So I'm just pasting the new access token here and just hitting that. So you can get the same value here in your custom application as well. So you can extend these apart from Zoho ecosystem and build a application on top of Zoho IoT itself with the time series capabilities. So this is one of the use case. And we also have that Google Sheet integration. So where previously we have created a service order, right? So in such case, this same service order can also be listed on your external applications such as Google Sheet or Microsoft Suite of applications. I'm just creating the application same data into the Google Sheet as well. So whenever the particular threshold has extended above 30 as mentioned earlier, those extended data will be published to Google Sheet as well from Zoho IoT. It will automatically append the each rows whenever the new alert is raised or new service order is raised for the particular application. So this is one of the use case where we will be using the same custom function we used for creating the service order within the application. I'm just replacing the Google script which is deployed in the Google as in my account itself. So with that URL, we can able to publish the data from Zoho IoT to the Google Sheet. So this is one of the use case, and the final one will be the Sigma extension. So Sigma extension is nothing but a toolkit feature where you can build a custom widget or custom workflow or custom visual representation on top of the Zoho IoT. So here you can, this is the default modules we have within the Zoho IoT, but if you need some sort of custom view, you without like kind of you can customize these filter options too. So I'm just made a one for you. So I will be listing all the downtime analysis based on the custom view. So these filter options you can customize as well. So it's just a client script. Whatever application you can build on top of these provided IoT SDKs, and just zip it and you can publish to your own organization. Since we not made it publicly for the marketplace, you can upload your zip file into the own organization custom module. Then it will be rendered as a separate standalone application on top of a organization application itself. So yeah, So these are the use cases you can leverage with through the REST APIs provided to IoT. I'm just showcasing you the code we have deployed here. Yeah. So this is the client script. This is a single HTML page. You can also use React or any other front-end frameworks. You can either Angular or any other framework on client side. So you just make it a zip file, as you can use the support using the Z CLI support. Just pack it and upload here in the Sigma extension tab. So under the Sigma extension tab, you can able to upload a zip file. So I'm just uploaded this zipped version of this, which will be rendering as the one we are seeing right now. So this not just an closed one. The limit is endless. You can create a custom apps or custom widget flow based on these provided APIs. Yeah, that's it, guys. I hope we have covered all those use cases we can leverage using the REST APIs.
To summarize, we had seen in this particular session, advanced report generation sort of things, and then schedules, and then notification profiles, multi-tenancy, client portal information, how you can have a new business models with that and rebranded ways, and the extensive way of using APIs to customize and integrate with third-party applications, right? So with that, we believe that you have got the essential information that is required for you to get inside the application, and there are documentation available. You can find it under Zoho IoT knowledge base section. You can search for recipes and getting started kind of guides, and also for every module we have a developer related documentation as well. Mentioned there, and in case any questions related to customizing this or architecting this entire solution, anything, so feel free to check with us with support at zohoiot.com. So if there are any business opportunities, please send email to evaluation@zohoiot.com.